Well, it is another step, I guess, in the year of delivery for Julia Gillard. Tony Abbott, though, says that part of the reason that there's been some improvement in Gillard's standing, at least, certainly not the parties, but Gillard's, is on this question of seeing a lot of overseas leaders, or he described as stalking these leaders, so he wasn't particularly comfortable with that when he faced the media.
If I were ever the Prime Minister, I think I would have a healthy, a constructive and an appropriately respectful relationship with the other major powers in this world. Look, as I said, I think this is a Prime Minister who has almost out-Kevined Kevin Rudd over the last 4 weeks, and the important thing...
Should she have not attended?
The important thing when Australian leaders go overseas is to bring something back.
On stronger ground, no doubt, though, on this issue politically for him on asylum seekers, and now these changes have been announced, which effectively means that those who arrive by boat will be treated now in the future as those, same way as those who arrive by air, and this is Tony Abbott's interpretation of what that means.
What we are now seeing from this government is not offshore processing, it's not even onshore processing, it's a policy of immediate onshore release. That's what we've got.
And together with that, you might have seen on the Telegraph website talks of invasion. The Herald Sun talks about flooding, refugees flooding the suburbs and so on.
They're the sorts of stories the government really doesn't like. They're the sorts of stories they'd rather not see, and that's why they're saying they'd be happy for Peter Slipper's stories to take their place. They're a problem. The stories about immigration are still a problem for the government, and they don't seem to know what to do about it.
But then they argue, yes, but we're doing it this way because we have no choice, that the High Court made any other approach illegal.
Yeah, well, it was explained to me on Friday by a senior member of the government who said, look, if we didn't do this, we would have to reopen the Baxter Detention Centre at Woomera in South Australia. And I think if they did that, then the fracture between the two parts of the electorate which hate them over this issue would become almost permanent.
So is it the beginning of a wind down, though? It's not the beginning of the end for detention centres, but it's the beginning of a winding down, is it?
Well, it is. I think the government is still doing a lot of work on trying to find another way through the puzzle. They still believe that something like the Malaysian deal is the way to go, and they're trying to reconstruct it somehow. Perhaps not necessarily with Malaysia, but that's going to take time, and it may not be possible. But they do face the problem of overcrowding in these detention centres we've got. What were there, 600, 700 who arrived in the last month? That's unsustainable.
All right, more with our panel shortly. Karen Middleton, Dennis Atkins and Nikki Saber. But now here's Mike Bowers and Talking Pictures.